Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to take one of the most famous personal development frameworks in the entire world and, well, actually put it to work. Throughout this series, we've explored Stephen R. Covey's 7 powerful ideas, concepts that can fundamentally change how we think, work, communicate, and grow. But, as we all know, just reading a book or understanding a concept, that doesn't actually change your life. So we're here today to completely close the action gap. We're bridging the space between just understanding these concepts and literally living them.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question. How can we actually use these habits in everyday life? We have to acknowledge that action gap. You see, understanding Covey's ideas is really only the beginning. The real, tangible value, that comes from your daily decisions. His ideas only become truly valuable when they jump right off the pages of the book and into your morning routine, your meetings, and your daily conversations.
So let's jump right into Section 1, the theory, a quick recap.
Okay, habit 1 is all about being proactive. This is the big shift away from a reactive mindset, constantly blaming the weather, the economy, or just other people for your problems. Instead, you focus purely on your circle of influence. You take personal control by asking one simple, incredibly powerful question: what can I do about it? This tiny little shift in thinking is literally the first foundational step to taking responsibility for your entire life.
Moving on to habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Covey famously warned that it's incredibly easy to work really hard climbing the ladder of success, only to realize, oops, it's leaning against the completely wrong wall. We absolutely must intentionally define our destination, our core values, and our legacy before making daily decisions. We can't just blindly live according to whatever random circumstances get thrown our way.
Next up is habit 3, put first things first. This is where you actually manage your time around those values. Think of it like putting the big rocks into a jar first. Those big rocks are your family, your health, your long-term goals. Because, listen, if you fill your days with the sand and gravel of urgent notifications and endless emails, those big rocks are never going to fit. You just have to prioritize what is truly important.
All right, habit 4, think win-win. This requires what Covey calls an abundance mentality. Real success isn't some finite pie, where if you get a big slice, I automatically get less. Not at all. Win-win shifts our whole mindset from how can I get what I want to how can we both succeed. Whether we're talking about a business negotiation or a relationship with a family member, you are actively looking for solutions where absolutely everyone benefits.
Then there's habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. This one completely transforms relationships because it challenges our default communication style. Good communication starts with listening. But let's be totally honest here. Most of us just listen while we're secretly preparing our own response, right? We just want to defend our side of the story. Well, this habit challenges us to practice empathic listening. We have to genuinely listen, ask questions, and really understand the other person's perspective first before we even attempt to explain our own point of view.
Habit 6 is synergize. This is the magical realization that 1 + 1 can equal 3, or honestly, even 10. Working together creates something far, far better than what we could ever create separately. Instead of seeing differences in our experiences or skills as a roadblock, synergy means using those wildly different perspectives as incredible strengths to find way better solutions.
In rounding out the list is habit 7, sharpen the saw. It focuses on continuous improvement. Imagine trying to cut down a giant tree with a really dull saw. You could work incredibly hard, sweat pouring down your face, but taking the time to sharpen the saw first makes you infinitely more effective. For us, this means regularly renewing yourself across 4 key areas: your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. Because personal growth, it isn't a one-time event. It is a lifelong process.
Okay, moving into Section 2, the practice, your 30-day challenge. So all that theory is fantastic, but here is where the rubber finally meets the road. Because overwhelm is the total enemy of progress, we're breaking this whole thing down into a simple, bite-sized timeline to seamlessly integrate these habits. Our first 15 days focus entirely on your inner journey. For days 1 through 5, your only job is to monitor your language, catch yourself blaming others, and instead practice habit 1 by taking responsibility. Then, days 6 through 10, practice habit 2 by spending just a few quiet minutes drafting a vision of your ultimate goals. Next, days 11 to 15, we tackle habit 3. Identify your top 3 most important tasks each morning and knock them out before the whirlwind of the day takes over. Now, we expand outward for the second half of the month. Days 16 to 19, pick just one relationship and intentionally seek a win-win outcome.
For days 20 to 22, challenge yourself to have 3 conversations where you do absolutely nothing but listen. No interrupting, zero planning your reply, just listen. Days 23 to 26, actively collaborate with someone who thinks totally differently than you do to build synergy. And finally, bring it all home on days 27 to 30. Do just one daily activity that renews your body, mind, or relationships to sharpen that saw.
Up next, Section 3, the framework build, showing exactly how these habits connect.
The absolutely crucial point here is that these habits are not just some random list of isolated ideas. No, they physically stack on top of one another to build this incredible momentum in your life. This is the snowball effect in action. Think about it. Taking personal responsibility naturally sets you up to confidently decide your life's direction. And once that destination is locked in, prioritizing your daily tasks just becomes second nature. When your own life is in order, boom, you can successfully build mutual, synergistic relationships outward. And wrapping all of that together is the continuous drive to keep renewing yourself. It's literally a master framework for personal effectiveness.
Finally, Section 4, choosing to be intentional.
As we approach the end of this explainer, we need to completely reframe how we view success with these habits. Listen, this isn't a pop quiz where you need a perfect score overnight. It's entirely about the philosophy of intentionality. The biggest lesson here is that your effectiveness is shaped by the choices you make repeatedly. It is the vast difference between being swept up in a chaotic tornado of daily urgencies versus intentionally aiming your focus like a master archer. True effectiveness means consciously choosing your response instead of simply reacting to whatever random thing life throws at you.
We also must make the daily, conscious choice to prioritize understanding over arguing and cooperation over competition. You aren't going to master all of these at once, and that is perfectly okay. You start with one, you practice it, you probably mess it up a bit, you learn from those mistakes, and then you move on to the next. Over time, these small, highly intentional changes just become a natural part of who you are.
So here's our final takeaway. If you remember absolutely anything from this explainer, let it be this toolkit. From taking proactive responsibility all the way up to sharpening your saw, these 7 principles aren't just a basic checklist. Think of them as a brand new operating system for your entire life. Tackle them one at a single time, give yourself some grace when you stumble, and just keep building.
The ball is entirely in your court now. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to kickstart your 30 days. Knowledge gives you great ideas, sure, but what will your consistent actions create? Don't just nod along to these concepts. Go out and practice them, starting today. Because intentional, consistent action is literally the only thing that creates true, lasting change. You got this. Good luck.